Welcome everybody to another edition of the J&J's Double Play Top 5 Countdown video. For this list, we'll be looking at the top 5 Major League Baseball stadiums we want to visit in the near future.
That's right. We're basing this on looks of the ballpark, how beautiful it is, on the cost of a ball game to go there, and just the overall atmosphere of the area.
So without any further ado, let's get into our top 5 ballparks we want to visit in the near future. And at number 5, we're going to start off with Yankee Stadium, home of the New York Yankees. The new Yankee Stadium opened in 2009 and has been home to one World Series championship by the Yankees, which we don't talk about. No, but in all seriousness, Yankee Stadium has so much historical value to it that we could not leave it on the list. And even though we are not the biggest Yankee fans, as previously mentioned in some of our other videos, I still think a visit to Yankee Stadium would be an amazing experience. One, because of the fan base, and two, because of all the history, especially located behind center field in Yankees Hall of Fame, just to see all those great numbers such as Lou Gehrig, Mickey Mantle.
When you think of baseball, I think one of the first teams you think of is the Yankees. The pinstripes were just too historic for us to leave off, even though we do not care for them. But you also have one of the most dedicated fan bases there, and we would love to sit in the bleacher creatures just to hear it live. So that is why number 5 is Yankee Stadium.
And at number 4, we have Petco Park in San Diego. Petco Park is located in downtown San Diego and opened in 2004 and is home of the San Diego Padres, the only major sports team left in San Diego after the Chargers left and the AAF dissolved. Rest in peace, AAF. We chose San Diego as number 4 on this list because it is located in beautiful downtown San Diego, only a couple minutes away from the beaches, and it gives a good ballpark experience. Tickets can go as low as $8, which is crazy cheap.
And I just think that out of all the California stadiums, this is probably one of the higher ones up there. But there is one more that we'll get to in a bit.
And spoiler alert, it's not Oakland. So coming in at number 3, we have Busch Stadium. Now, Busch Stadium makes this list for a couple of reasons. One, it's located right in the heart of downtown St. Louis. It has one of the most passionate fan bases in all of baseball. Now, we're not Cardinals fans either. Back in the Astros NL Central days, the Cardinals were one of our biggest rivals, so we could not go for the Cardinals under any circumstance. However, I respect them, and they are one of the main teams that sells out every single game. Even in cold weather, bad weather days, you can always find Busch Stadium full to the brim in red with Cardinals fans. And they have a pretty awesome porch that you can just watch baseball on. I believe it's called the Budweiser Busch Porch. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you can just sit and watch, and there's a brewery on site. It's a great game day experience to go to a game at Busch Stadium.
And one thing that I will say about Cardinals fans is they're probably one of the most respectful fans out there, because I remember when the Astros did beat them in the NLCS in 2005, the Cardinals fans actually cheered for the Astros and applauded them, so that was very respectful. And just the lineage behind St. Louis as a team, they are the second most winning franchise of all time, and you just have that beautiful backdrop with the St. Louis Arc out there. It would be a nice thing to see someone like Yadier Molina out there, or someone young like Colton Wong. And so that leads us to our number 2 stadium, which is still in the NL Central, the Chicago Cubs in Wrigley Field.
The second oldest stadium in Major League Baseball, Wrigley Field opened in 1914 and has been home to the Chicago Cubs ever since, and has seen a whopping 1 World Series victory. Like Busch Stadium, it is home to one of the best fan bases in all of baseball. There is not a day that goes by in the summer that Wrigley Field is never sold out. It got to the point where they started building bleachers on top of nearby buildings so way more fans have a chance to see the beloved Cubs play. And I think the setting of Wrigley Field is really interesting because it's located in a neighborhood. Now, most of these stadiums are located in downtowns, where this is more of a suburban setting, but Wrigley Field makes this list because of its history, how this stadium was built in the 1910s and is still functioning to this day.
And I think it's just been impressive on how they were able to maintain it for so long, and the beauty and the essence of it. Like, you still have the ivy, you still have everything from the original ballpark, and it still works perfectly. And like you said, I think Chicago would be a perfect fan time to be around them because of how passionate Cubs fans are. Their one World Series win and how long people waited. Like, you had people crying because they won the World Series because they waited that long. So I think Wrigley would be an amazing fan experience if you're a fan of baseball.
To add to your point, if I were to have a friend who I was trying to introduce to baseball and I would take them to a game at a ballpark, I would show them Wrigley Field first, just because of the passionate fan base, the pageantry that we mentioned before. That's why Wrigley Field is number 2 on this list. You might be thinking, why isn't it number 1 with all the things we mentioned, how many good things we said about it? Well, because there's one stadium, and the only thing bad about it is its name, and that is Oracle Park in San Francisco. Yes, the 3rd time I've made an Oracle Park joke in this series. I get it. But let's be real. If the name is the worst part of the park, you got a good park. Located in San Francisco, right on McCovey Cove, this is by far the most beautiful stadium in all of baseball. Now, I have to give props to PNC Park. I think it has one of the best backdrops with downtown Pittsburgh, the Roberto Clemente Bridge. I think that's a perfect baseball backdrop. But having the ocean as a backdrop is better and is awesome. That's the main reason why it makes the list for number 1, in my opinion, just because of the pure beauty. And also it's home to the San Francisco Giants, who have been one of the most successful team in the 2010s, winning 3 World Series.
Yes, as he said, it's probably the best backdrop out there with the beauty of the ocean. And not just that, you have that giant Coke bottle, which is very cool to me. And the weather is always perfect out there. You're along the coastline, so it's going to be very nice. And it just seems like one of those ballparks that you need to be there to really understand its beauty. But that being said, our ballpark here at home, it's not too shabby at all.
Yes, I get it. Globe Life Park is great. But that'll do it for our top 5 list. Do we leave out any important ballparks on the list? Leave your thoughts and comments down below, and we will look forward to doing more ballpark content and more sports content going forward. Thanks again for watching the J&J's Double Play channel, and we'll see you next time.
With the